Aloha, good morning from the Billabong Pipe Masters in loving memory of Andy Irons. This is the final stop on the Samsung Galaxy Championship Tour, and we have a very special edition of Dawn Patrol for you. On day one, we'll be joined by many former Pipe Masters champions, and we're going to be having a big reflect on what has been an amazing year. And you think about this location where we're sitting just across the street, Sunset Elementary. They got their first world champion this season, and I've got Kelly Slater, Joel Parkinson, Adriano de Souza, and also Jeremy Flores, all former pipe champs. Kelly with 7 obviously, and looking for an 8th this year. But Kelly, before we start talking Pipe Masters, we want to talk a little bit about John's title run. An amazing result, and the North Shore reacted in a big way when he returned home.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it was, I think, a thing of beauty to see all the support he's had. What can you say? What a year, you know, starting off with winning the Eddie in February, going straight to Australia and getting it started. And, you know, he let it be known straight away he wanted to win a world title, and he was dedicated to that instead of movie filming and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, he made it happen.
Joel, you've been part of many title races yourself. This one you got to kind of look from the outside in and see what unfolded. Just how tough were John's rivals in this quest to bag a first world title?
Oh, I think Gabriel was his biggest threat. I think the way Gabriel was surfing, I mean, through lowers and stuff, he had some tough calls, some really tight heats, you know, where if they had it went his way, it would have been probably an amazing finish here at Pipeline. But you know, the heats, you know, you just, as a world champion, you really got to win them, and he probably left the door open on a few of those heats. And John, you know, was amazing. You know, now he has the potential to win a world title, you know, a Triple Crown, an Eddie O'Cow, and possibly a Pipe Masters all in 1 year, which should be probably a record that'd be hard to beat.
Yeah, it's one of the few events that he hasn't won on the schedule. Adriano de Souza, welcome back to Pipe.
Thank you.
The defending champion, well, last year's world champion. This year was an interesting one for you. How was it trying to get back to the top after finally reaching the pinnacle?
Yeah, for me it was such a tricky year because like compare 2015 to 16, like I started my preseason, I didn't have like chance at all to do a really good preseason, so I was doing so many interviews and be out of the water for pretty much most of the time. And I got married at the beginning of the year as well, so
congratulations.
Different perspective of my life as well. So but I tried my best, and I'm so happy as well to be on the top 10 at this stage before this contest started. And it was amazing as well to watch Gabriel and John to fight and battle for the world title. It was such an incredible to watch those fellas doing an amazing job doing all year, and then battle each heat and each like second for every single like heat. So it was pretty impressed, and yeah, for me, I just be part of this. For me, it was such a good year.
Beautiful. Jeremy Flores also joins us, the Heartbreak Kid. Broke Kieran Perro's heart that year he won the Pipe Masters, but luckily Kieran came back the next season and got a win himself. Jeremy, great to be here at Pipe once again. I want to talk firstly about your thoughts this year, a highlight moment. What was John's best performance in your eyes?
I think every time John paddles out, it does something pretty special. I think winning the Eddie O'Cow was pretty special. You know, surfing these big waves. I guess it's kind of his backyard, so he knows he's been surfing since he's a little kid. But still, to beat all these big wave warriors, big wave legends, that's pretty nuts. And then his barreling skills. I mean, you know, I can't talk enough about how good he is in the barrel. That's what makes him so special, I think.
Definitely. Kelly, just quickly, this event is obviously the one event that John would love to win above all others, but it's eluded him so far. I know that you've had close heats, close finals in the past here too, and I think those losses in those finals seem to weigh on you heavier than losses in finals at any other location. Is that fair to say?
I would think so. You know, there's something special about winning the last event of the year, the event at Pipeline. It just wraps everything up. Plus, on top of that, the trophy, it's such a great trophy every year. you know, I think anyone who wins this contest will be happy walking away with that trophy and not even the paycheck. You know, it's just a really special thing. Yeah, it's eluded John so far. I mean, the four of us are hoping it eludes him again, but you know, when you're that good, you get lucky a lot. It looks like luck. It's not luck. But you know, this is his backyard. He's so comfortable in it, and it takes somebody. You know, I've watched obviously John in a few of these and a few of the Vocal Pipe Pros, which you know, he's won 3 of those, but he also maybe 4 of those. I don't know, but it really takes a bunch of other guys in the heat kind of putting something together really early on to stop him out here and throw him off his roll, and then he has to scramble and try to make something happen. But you know, guys who do good out here usually control the lineup from the start of the heat. That happens at most places, but Pipeline is one of those places where you can put a good heat together in about 2 minutes. You can get a right and a left real quick and it's over. So we'll see what happens.
Joel, just quickly, when you want an event win so bad, does it make that event harder to get?
Sometimes it does, and I think, especially being at home here, like I know at Snapper sometimes, the weight of the pressure, and that's the first event of the year. You know, when I surf that, I always trying to think, you know, I've got 9 events to surf, so don't feel too much pressure. It's too early, but I couldn't imagine it being the last event of the year where you paddle out and you're not going to get a lot of chances. You know, Pipe's one of those waves that you may only have 2 or 3 good waves in a heat, and you know, 4 guys could be out and you may not get one. So it's one of those places where I think you've really got to try and get the pressure out of it.
All right, we're going to have more talk on the Pipe Masters with these former champions right after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back to the show. It is day 1. We're enjoying a fantastic opportunity to chat to a bunch of former Pipe Masters, and during the break we were just talking about the free surfing sessions that were unfolding yesterday. Tricky conditions, but a couple of gems out there. Jeremy, you snagged an okay one?
Yeah, I got a fun one. All you need is one, huh? Everyone was catching these good ones, but there wasn't many really makeable one. It was hitting that weird deep spot at backdoor, but there was definitely some crazy visions.
So challenging for you guys, Adriano, trying to get those warm-ups happening. It's got to be one of the most crowded locations on the face of the planet.
Yeah, for sure. Basically, every time I hit the lineup, I set my mind, you know, I just go out there and see 3 hours and surf sometimes one wave, you know. So I think this special here pipe, you know, I have to really be in the lineup, but think about it's not gonna be like the other sport. I can surf a lot of waves, and then I have a chance to really put my surfboard like where I want to be. So basically, have to respect the locals, have to respect the lineup, and
Absolutely.
especially the location we are right now is so much tradition around here. So, but that's why every time I go there, I know when I'm back home, I know I get frustration because I got only a few waves, and sometimes that few waves make you pretty much the whole your season, you know, like happy and got the best wave of my life. So,
Like Jeremy said, you only need one.
yeah.
Kelly, let's reflect on what has been, well, what is it, almost 25 years of domination for you here at Pipe. Is it crazy for you to think back to 92, winning here and still, you know, claiming event wins here in this day and age?
It's pretty wild. I guess back then I would never have thought I'd still be surfing them, you know. But yeah, this might be my 26th maybe, because my first one was in 91. Yeah, if I could pick one place in the world I could surf events for that long, it would be here. I started surfing out here in 84, so it's been 33 years now.
Amazing too to think you came from Florida, you came to the North Shore. I know the late great Brock Little was a big influence on you and pushing you hard in waves of consequence. How much of an impact did his criticisms have on you doing well in this contest?
Oh, Brock was the ultimate critic. I mean, just searing comments that would just burn into your soul, and you know, the kind you couldn't sleep at night after he talked to you. But most of that was in big waves. You know, that was usually in waves of consequence, like you might drown. Brock never really was into the pipe and backdoor stuff. He was, you know, I think admittedly he was never very good at pipe and backdoor compared to what other guys. You know, he wasn't on that level with like Johnny Boy and Dane and the Ho brothers. But yeah, but he constantly was pushing us, all of us, our whole group of guys, and I think that pushed us in any kind of waves.
What people then did you look to for, I guess, the spot to sit, the line you should take into this wave? Who are your influences for pipe?
The guys I've named, but also, you know, the one person who made a huge impact on me my first time where I really surfed pipeline was Ronnie Burns. I remember there was just one wave I remember him catching where it was like past vertical, and he took off and kind of faded right and stuck his rail in, and just the way he utilized the curve of the wave and his board together. You know, I can picture that right now. That was like in probably '88. So just being in the water, watching all these guys all the years, there's too many good guys to name. Obviously, you look to a guy like Jerry when he's paddling, or Derek. I mean, I always felt Tom Carroll was the man out here. You know, I really love the way Tom attacked the wave, and you know, his results showed. Still attacking. The funny thing is, you go out on a 10-foot day with Tom here, and beforehand he's really nervous on the beach. I said, oh, let's go surf a couple years ago and paddle out there. He's like, I haven't been out there in a few years. I was like, are you serious? Paddle out, and it was like, you know, second nature to him. It was just riding a bike. But beforehand he was real nervous. But it's great to see Tom out there.
Definitely. Adriano, we're going to look back on last year. You stitched up the world title, and then you got a win at Pipe. Obviously, that was the goal. You're in a title race with Mick Fanning. You're thinking, I'm going to need to win this contest. But you managed to stay composed enough for that final to get the job done. That must have been, other than maybe getting married, the greatest day of your life.
Yeah, it's true. For me, like, I come like to Hawaii that season last year, like to win the world title. No matter what the round is, I'm coming really focused, and I remember like the whole season last year I couldn't sleep at all. So it was 40 nights I couldn't sleep. It was just like think about every day, and it was pretty stressful. Like everything was done that day. I'm pretty like, oh my God, this is the end, you know. So it was pretty intense because Maker's been on a roll as well, and then Gabriel was informed the whole time. And I remember that heat against Kelly. I was like, oh, it's gonna be really heat of the year right now, you know. And I was watching, and since Mick won that, he was like, putting my head down. I was like, I think I have to do what right now. So
I think the master stroke for you though was employing that local knowledge, and I think the confidence that comes with staying with someone like Jamie O'Brien. You must look back on that as one of the greatest decisions in your career.
Yeah, for sure. Like I had a plan, you know, like 5 years ago to for last year, you know, and I'm starting doing the Volcom here a couple years back, and I did the final against Kelly. Kelly won the contest, and I told myself, like, if I get here at the final and then I beat all those locals and I compete against those guys, and now I have a chance. I'm ready. I'm ready for the big stage, you know. And I took the levels like going up, and as soon as I had the chance to fight it for the world title here, so I was ready than ever. So I'm so happy to bring that trophies back home, and yeah, putting my name on the trophy forever.
One of the most unbelievably emotional celebrations that we've ever seen here on the beach. It was a great win. Stay with us after the break. We're going to chat to Jeremy Flores and Joel Parkinson about their victories here at the Pipe Masters. Welcome back to Dawn Patrol. We are here at the Billabong Pipe Masters, the final stop on the schedule, one of the most prestigious comps in the world of sport. Jeremy Flores, a former winner, and Jeremy, your year, that final was exceptional, one of the best we've seen. Kieran Perro looked like he had it stitched up, had priority in the final seconds, and he made a crucial error. He went the first wave of a set, left you out the back, and what has to be one of the most memorable rides of your life. Despite the fact that it might not be the best barrel you've ever had, it got you a Pipe Masters title. What are your thoughts looking back on that day?
Yeah, it feels like it was yesterday, even though it was 6 years ago. But yeah, that wave, I mean, he went on the first wave of the set, which looked pretty good, but the second one was way better. The wind had picked up a little bit in the final, so there wasn't many good clean waves. So yeah, I got lucky to get that one, but still had, you know, to come out, and yeah, that was one of the best moments of my career, to win the Pipe Master. I feel like the celebration after was never ending, and I feel like it's still haven't really recovered from it.
We're still going.
Yeah,
we're still celebrating. It's been great. But you're the first European to win, the only European to win. You've done that a couple of times at some of the really prestigious locations. When you look back on that and think about that, the first European to win the Pipe Masters, you must have a lot of pride for that result.
Yeah, for sure. I'll have that for the rest of my life. Now I'll have my name on that board behind, next to all the legends. That's priceless. Like I say, I feel like if there was one event to win ever, was the Pipe Master. I'll remember for the rest of my life. I had a good heat against Kelly in the semi-final too. I sneaked one of him
under his priority.
I had a long little bow. I was needing a score. I got the score. So yeah, you know, beat Kelly in the semi-final, which she was on fire the whole event, and then beat Kieran in the final. I mean, when you beat all these guys, it's something you're proud of. So pretty proud of that one.
And I know that all you guys really do surf in memory of Andy, and right behind us at the moment, a North Shore royalty, a Hawaiian legend, Tony Moniz, is leading prayer with a lot of the Championship Tour competitors and good friends of Andy's. We've got one of Andy's best mates sitting right here next to me in Joel Parkinson. Joel, you got the victory here in a year where you were chasing down a world title. You hadn't had a victory that season, but man, you saved your best till last that day.
Yeah, I mean, it was. For me, it was easily one of the most special days of my surfing career. And sometimes I always question whether I won a Pipe Masters that day and I won a world title that day. And sometimes I feel maybe the Pipe Masters was a little clouded because I think more about the main goal is to win a world title. I never won a Pipe Masters as standalone, so just the feeling of the event actually never really had the implications like it should. Like the world title overtook that, but it was a huge, for me it was a special day. I always find it pretty amazing that Jeremy was in a final with Kieran, and Kieran, the guy, it was for 3 years in a row, the guy who got second at Pipe went on and won, like for myself and then Kieran and Jeremy, and I thought that trend was going to keep repeating, and it wasn't to be, but that was...
So was Josh Kerr.
Yeah.
But it wasn't the way it panned out. But I really want to say I appreciate you guys being here at the moment, because I know you'd all love to be over here involved in what's going on. But just quickly, Joel, where is Andy in your thoughts when this event rolls around each season?
I think doing this every start of the event, and it's such a great tradition, and I think we need to keep that up. And Tony's voice, as I was just saying to Kelly, is so special here in Hawaii. That voice is... it's one of the most amazing voices to listen to, and I love hearing Uncle Tony's stories.
Good boxer too. But just quickly, Kelly, I
don't want to find out.
We didn't really get the opportunity to ask you just what your Pipe Masters titles mean, and does everyone hold the same significance?
Yeah, in general, yeah, but there are years that the waves have been better. Like there was one year that it sure didn't feel like a Pipe Masters. Backdoor and pipe was literally about knee high that day. I think it was 94. I won the world title that day also, but it was at Aokai surfing head high rights. It was me, Ross Williams, Sonny, and Poto in the final. It was a 4-man heat.
Who was sitting the deepest?
Poto was sitting out there, and he was riding a boat. He was riding like this big, huge thing, and Sonny was riding like a 610. And they were just on these giant boards, so Ross and I were just trying to sneak waves underneath them. Yeah, I mean, there's been so many incredible memories here. If I were to go through the memory banks of all the years, from the first year, just even getting a chance to surf it, got one of the best waves of my life. I remember vividly when I was 19 to, having heats with Andy. In 2000, we had a heat out here. It was just pumping, and I had a really good heat. And, Andy needed like a 9-something in the end, and I think he got a 10 on his last left and smoked me. And then he had that huge wipeout that year going over the falls. Rob won that year. I mean, all the memories just flood in when I think about the different years. And, honestly, the generations of guys I've surfed against from the beginning to now. So it's really special.
A lot of special moments there. Of course, we've got the Pipe Invitational on standby, and after the break, we're going to get the official call and find out if we'll see some heats on day one. Stay with us.
Welcome back to the Billabong Pipe Masters, the third stop on the Vans Triple Crown of Surfing. I'm here with Kieran Perot, Commissioner of the World Surf League's Championship Tour. Of course, first day of the waiting period. We've got some swell in the water, not a ton, but what's our call for today?
Yeah, we've got some swell left over. We're really confident about today, actually. Seeing yesterday the swell build through the day. It was a slow build, so we hoped that it would hang around today and we'd be able to get underway, but unfortunately dropped away a lot overnight. Super inconsistent out there. Not really enough opportunity for 4 guys in the Invitational, so we'll be off for the day. We'll come back tomorrow.
All right, thank you, Kieran. Great call. We'll head back over to the crew of champions over there for the Billabong Pipe Masters. Take it away, Ronnie.
Thank you, Pete. So no competition today, but we will be back and checking the swell, obviously, tomorrow morning, so tune in for that. Just quickly, gentlemen, obviously, world titles decided, but it doesn't make this event any less important. Jeremy, just quickly for you, you've requalified via the QS, freed up, feeling relaxed.
Yeah,
is this the year to get that second?
I hope so. I mean, win or lose, you know, when you get barrel at pipe, you have these special heats like last year, and as long as we're getting barrel, everyone's stoked, everyone's getting big scores. It's the best event of the year by far, so we'll see.
Beautiful. Kelly, after an 8th victory here, and just quickly, you made it public. You're going for a world title in 2017, which is fantastic. Do you feel like just putting that out there has kind of really committed you to that goal now?
Yeah, I think it does change things. Funny enough, Shane Horan's the guy who talked to me about like really putting your foot in the ring, you know, and like really announcing, sort of saying that. John did it this year, but it does change the feeling you have, the energy around it. And you know, after all these years on tour, Parko and I have had these talks before where how do you keep going? How do you stay motivated? And if it's not something a little bit bigger than like how the waves are that day or how you're feeling that week or whatever, you know, you need something that kind of pushes you through those times anytime you're going to really try and give your best all year. So, yeah.
Definitely. I hope Mick Fanning makes a decision soon and lets
I'd
us
like
know
to
if he's
see
going to be
that.
there as well, because it is going to be an
I'd like to hear
unbelievable...
Parko make that decision right this minute.
Parko's always hanging there. He's chasing a win.
Yeah, I'll accept Mick's decision. We'll come back and just hopefully we'll just finish in front of you. We'll be like 20th, 18th and 19th.
It's going to be good. I know you guys are going to try and stop him. Adriano, have you got the fire back for another world title after this year?
Yeah, for sure. Every time I grab the vest, I want to win. But I think this contest, especially the Pipe Masters for me, I just thankful for some people helped me so much to get the fires back, you know, especially the O'Brien family. Ricardo dos Santos for me.
I've got to stop you there, mate.
It's always in my heart.
But thank you so much, guys, for coming on the show. Best of luck in the event, and everyone out there, stay tuned to worldsurfleague.com. Plenty of great features there. And tune in tomorrow morning, 7:30 a.m. We'll have another edition of Dawn Patrol. We'll see you then.